Don't want to leave? Want to live at Disney World? I'll make it a realty reality. Everything from Dr. Phillips to Davenport, Claremont to Kissimmee, Winter Garden or Windermere, and Disney's own Celebration and Golden Oak. I'm Realtor Victor Naraki, and this is Disney at your doorstep. Hey everyone, we have 6 people watching already, and I'm really excited about doing this today. I am here with Kim Nigrelli, who is my broker, and we're going to be really just going to have a chat for the next hour. If you need to leave, Kim, you can, but next hour about real estate and the market. And how is everything going with you today, Kim?
Hey, good evening, Victor. Doing well, doing well. Thank you for having me on this amazing show.
Oh, I'm so glad. Wanted you to be my first guest that I do this with. So
exciting.
Yeah. So you suggested that I should talk about, the first thing I should talk about is our weather here. So today in March, it was 79. It's 79 degrees right now. It was up to 82. So that is our weather here right now. We did have a cold. I think we did have a kind of cold February and January, but it's certainly not as bad as up north. So where is everybody watching from? If you could just chime in and tell me where you're watching from. But we're just going to talk about the market. I have a couple of questions that came in. I have some things that I saw online that I thought were kind of silly. So I thought we'd start with that because I thought it was, hey, Sandy Hook, New Jersey. I love Sandy Hook. I looked when I was looking online to figure out, what we were going to talk about, to see if there were any questions that come up. I found this article and I thought it was just fluff piece about, how to buy a home. And I just thought this is just so silly that I have to show it. So the first thing it says is these are things you should ask when you're buying a home. So a resale home. Why is the seller selling the house? And I love when people ask me to ask this question, because I will definitely ask for them. But the thing is, nobody has to tell you the truth. Right, Kim?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, they don't have to. Now, if it is pertinent to the value of the house, they have to fill out a seller's disclosure if they know something. But things like, sometimes when you ask that question, you also might be getting into very personal things with the seller. Like if they're getting a divorce or they have medical issues or things like that. And so I say stay away from that. Look at the seller's disclosure. If it really matters to you, if there was a divorce in the home, okay, we can ask. But I'd rather you just keep it more impersonal, The other thing that I think is so funny here is, and if anybody has any questions, please ask. Let me see. Wait. Save. Okay. Wait. Show. Okay. I love this one. How much did they pay for the house? Like what always makes me laugh is, I understand you think it matters, but if they got a deal, do you think they're going to give you a deal? I never understand that. It's like, so what if in 2008 they bought it for 150 and they're going to sell it for 400 now. It's got to be the market price. If it's, if it doesn't appraise, that's different. But asking, well, how much did they pay for the house, which is information I could probably dig up. Um, don't make that part of your decision on what you're going to offer, because that is just that doesn't make any sense to me at all. What do you think about that, Kim?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. When you have to take in consideration what kind of market we're in now, we're in crazy market, and you're looking at multiple offers on every property you get, low inventory. It's a totally different market than it was even 12 months ago, 24 months ago. It's incredible. The prices are going up and continue to. So
Yeah.
you can't even base it on what the other person paid for, because that could have been 2 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever the case. It could be 6 months ago. It's what the market is now. And right now, everybody wants to be in Florida. So, and I don't blame everybody to get out of that snow.
Yeah. Well, you're from Buffalo, right?
I was born and raised in Buffalo. My beautiful mother still lives there. And so I know how it is growing up there. And I moved down here, I think 27 years ago, and I never looked back.
Yeah.
So
12 for me. Yeah.
I cannot do the weather. We just came out of, just to touch base on the weather here. We had, I believe, 4 to 6 weeks of what we call winter in the 50s or 60s. And I mean, it's sunny every day here.
Yeah.
So it's just a totally different lifestyle. And if you're into, Disney parks or golf, or just don't like that seasonal depression, it's the place to be.
Well, Lorraine has a good question based on what we were talking about here. What is your thoughts on Zestimates on Zillow, the estimated value listed? And I'll say a joke after, but Kim, what do you think about it? What do you think about using Zillow Zestimates?
Well, I really, I don't want to say anything.
Yeah, you don't want to put them down.
Yeah, I don't want to put them down. I don't want to discredit any other business.
I do.
So I'm going to let Victor answer that one. I think that you stick with, the appraisal. If you're really gung ho on, what the house is worth, I always tell people, get an appraisal.
Yeah.
Get an appraisal.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. And then I'm going to let Victor answer that.
Well, my feeling is on Zestimates and Zillow. What we always in the industry say about Zillow is the A in Zillow is for accuracy, because there's no A in Zillow. So I find Lorraine is saying, do you think they're too high or too low? Yes.
I think they're too high. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I'm going to tell you, when I sold my house, the Zestimate, this was my Davenport home 10 years ago. They said it was worth 180, and I sold it for 240, and it appraised. So
wow.
So I do not think they're accurate, because they're not boots on the ground. They're not seeing the actual property. They're looking too far off by a computer algorithm. Now,
I agree. They're using all that algorithm, and that's why, if a couple companies have gotten into some trouble using that algorithm.
Yeah.
And exactly.
Yeah, and I think that, sure, you could look at it and say, give you an idea, but I would never, ever sell my house based on a Zestimate. Ever. I would do what you say, is to get an appraisal too. But even that's done by a human, and humans can be inaccurate too. So I just say, it's maybe a good idea to first of all talk to your realtor and see what your neighbors have actually sold for if you're selling a house. And if you're buying a house, see what the neighbors have actually sold for. In the last Now, appraisers only use the last 6 months of data. Right now, I would probably only use the last 2 or 3 months of data because prices have going up so much. Now, I had a condo um, that was listed at 265. I was representing the buyer, and I said to them, "I think this is undervalued." I really are, and they ended up putting in an offer of 290, not because they really saw the sales that reflected it, but they saw so many other communities that were just subpar. And for 290, they ended up getting a really above par 2-bedroom townhouse. So I think that, I think use your realtor. You could use an appraisal. Um, you know, those type of, if you're selling, you use an appraisal. So if anybody has any questions, I'm going to move on. Then we're going to answer some of the questions that I got online. Okay. So, oh, I love this one. Number 3. How much does a seller have left on their mortgage? I mean, that is like so stupid. What is it like if they had 200,000 left on their mortgage, you're going to only offer them 200,000? Why does that matter? They want to make money on the sale of their home. It's I when I see this type of stuff on the internet, I go, this is why people are asking me bizarre questions. And anyway,
I'm
I just isn't that an odd one, Kim?
Yeah, you know what I was thinking? I think this list, they must have pulled it from a title company because these are title company questions.
Yeah, I would think so too. Yeah. It's just Now, what's the housing market like in the area? Of course, that's a great question for a realtor.
Yeah, that's a great
That's
question.
something that we could talk about for hours.
Mm-hmm.
Are there recent sales to compare to the property? Absolutely. If your realtor doesn't give you those, they're not doing their job. I find that if I'm showing 6 properties in a day, it's hard to do the comps for every one. But after someone likes it, I can do the comps for them. What are the trends in the recent sales and how long? This is true. How long has the house been on the market? But I wouldn't use that as my barometer. I always say if a house has been on the market too long, it's generally considered that it's overpriced. But sometimes, and that will turn off the days on the market can turn off a lot of buyers. They see it's been on the market 100 days. But if you look a little closer, you might find out that there was a tenant that just left. That they weren't home, they were on vacation, so you know they couldn't sell it, because they didn't want people in their house when they were out of town. You never know what the whole reason is, so I wouldn't use it as the only justification for not seeing it. I would go and see it. Because I have seen some homes where, oh, there's my cat on the back. Um, I have seen some homes that have been on the market and there's been no reason for it not to sell, even though it was on the market for a long time. So, but there's always some reason for it to sell. But the number one reason is usually it's overpriced. If it was available to see, clean, and had neutral colors and things like that. So, um, Curtis family saying hello, hello. How are you? So, please, if you have any questions about buying a home in this area, I'm going to go to the questions that I received online. Okay, this was a very, very good question that I got. Is waiving the inspection a good option to make an offer more appealing? And yes, It is a good option to make it more appealing, but I think, Kim, you will agree that it is something that's very, very dangerous. Wouldn't you agree, Kim?
I absolutely agree with you, and I'll just touch on that. I am a big time fan, even if you get a new construction, to do an inspection,
Sure.
because spend the $200, spend the $300, whatever it costs, with whatever that inspector charges. Just because you could get in there and there was something wasn't right in the AC, and this is, folks, remember, this is your first biggest purchase, real estate. So treat it like your first biggest purchase. And always, if you're going to buy something, you want to protect that purchase. You want to protect that. You're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. My feeling is always do an inspection. Always do an inspection. It's worth the headache. You could move in and, sorry, there was no inspection done. Oh, the roof. Oh, there's a leak. Oh, the AC went. That's $5,000.
Yep.
That
Now,
could be, yeah. So that's just my feeling. I say always do an inspection, even if it does, and the seller's going to understand. Most sellers are going to, of course, you need an inspection.
well, I will tell you, I have seen listings that say no inspection, and I tell people to run away, because they're probably hiding something. But I think that if you have an inspection, it gives you peace of mind.
Would you? Okay, so Victor, would you buy a house without an inspection?
I have bought houses without inspections.
Okay. That's
because
great.
I know first of all, when I buy a house, I bought 2 homes without inspections, and they were very good deals. The reason being that I'd seen so many homes that I knew what the top 10 things are to look for. So I was looking for water intrusion. I didn't see any. Was the air conditioning working? It was. So I said, okay. Was there any, leaks, again, water intrusion in the attic? And it was a 5-year-old home. It was a foreclosure back in the day when we had foreclosures. And I just grabbed it and I sold it later on for $80,000 more than I bought it, with doing no improvements. So, yeah. But we got some good questions. Doesn't mortgage companies require an inspection? I'm going to say that I've never heard that from the mortgage company. What they do require is an appraisal. So you have to pay for your own, appraisal. But I've never heard of anyone requiring an inspection. And here's another thing I would think you would agree on this, Kim. Once you have an inspection, don't share that inspection report with anybody. Keep it to yourself, even if there's only minor things involved. If the insurance company wants it, ask the inspector to do a report specifically for the insurance company. The reason being is, say you have an electrical fire and you had a GFI that was broken. They're going to ask you, well, who fixed that GFI? Well, now you had an electrical fire. Well, we don't know now. Oh, your uncle fixed the GFI. Don't let them know any problems. So never give it to your insurance company. But no, I don't think mortgage companies, I've never seen it. How many have I done? 100. So what is your thoughts on private foreclosure, i.e. taxes, utility companies? They're not listed for sale. So, I mean, the thing is, when you do something like this, when you go to a private foreclosure, Kim, have you ever worked on one of these? Oh, I think we lost Kim a little.
I'm sorry, Victor, what did you say?
No, we're asking about private foreclosures, like tax foreclosures.
Yeah, I've worked on a couple years ago.
Yeah, we don't have them really anymore.
Yeah, because right now we're not. I have not done a gosh.
Oh
Since
yeah. Well, the reason being is people will always ask me, they'll say, are there any foreclosures in the area? And I'd say, why would someone say you bought the house for 400,000 in 2007 and you took out, maybe you owe now 400,000 because you refinanced at one point. Those houses are worth 400,000 again. So why would you take the hit to your credit by foreclosing unless it's in such bad shape that it's not worth 400,000 anymore? So foreclosures, I haven't seen one in the longest time, but it's one of the reasons I got into this business is I was looking for a deal when I first got to Florida. I wanted a house that was 14 years ago. I wanted a foreclosure. I wanted a deal. And I asked the agent, I said, aren't there any foreclosures here? And she was like, oh, Victor, this is Davenport. Like, as far as that, there were no foreclosures. Well, when I finally got my license, I realized that there were 40% of the houses that sold that year were foreclosures. Now it's probably less than 1%. So anyway, that's me. So anyway, let me see if we have some more comments. Yes, this is a very good point. If an inspection is too much money,
I agree, 100%.
You shouldn't be buying a home. Exactly.
I agree.
And it really is the best money you'll spend on your home is to have an inspection. Now, I have done a lot of inspections where I'm the only one there representing the buyer and the buyer isn't there. I'm not keen on that. I don't like taking it. I will, but I don't like taking that responsibility. If there's a time that you need to be there, it's for the inspection. You don't necessarily have to be in town for the closing. And most of my buyers are not in town for closing. But if there's a time for you to come, it's the inspection. So let's see if we got any more questions here. Well, this was a good one. Where do you see the market going, Kim?
Well, if I had a crystal ball,
I know we don't.
It's saying a few things.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it will correct itself. It will correct itself, in my opinion, in the next 24 months. But I also think that with Orlando, Florida, with the medical centers being built and the jobs are here, and Orlando has been the best kept. I used to say it's the best kept secret, and now it's not a secret.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Orlando will stay steady, and will be. It will level out. It'll always
have that. It'll always have value. That's what I always say. It is the most popular tourist attraction in the world. We're not on the coasts where you can get hurricanes. So it's always going to have value, but will it maintain these price points? I don't know if the new construction will maintain these price points. I'm finding the best deals in resale too. I mean, sometimes you just hit the right day and you get a good price. And the Curtis family is asking you a question, Kim. Would you buy a house today in this market? You'd better say yes, because these are all custom. No, just kidding.
Well, that's a great question. So thank you for asking me this question. Would I buy a house in this market? And my answer would be yes, just because there's still some deals out there. I have to be honest with you. There's still some deals out there. If you go to the new construction and the builders, they still help you out with closing costs. You still get a great house, a brand new house. You're just going to have to go a little bit farther, such as possibly Leesburg, Groveland, Deer Island. But yes, I would. And again, here's a couple things to look at. What is your price point? Is your price point between 600 to $1 million? Is it $1 million to $2 million? So it depends what price point you're in, because I'm seeing that, the houses that are in between, let's say 1.5 to 3 million. Well, yeah, they're on the market. They're still 90 days on the market. You have a shot at that. You have a shot of getting a good deal. And right now is actually a great time because it is cooling off a little bit.
I find that too. I find that it's like slowing down a bit, but I find that some of the builders are taking a little bit of advantage of the market. And then some are still maintaining a very good rhythm, and they're not overcharging. I just sold a house in Claremont. We closed at under 400. Lovely new gated community. So there's stuff out there, but you have to know what you're looking for. So,
and that's why you need, and this is not, I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything, but that's why you need a seasoned real estate agent that knows, like such as Victor, that knows the areas, knows his craft, knows inside, outside of Orlando, Disney area, knows HOAs, knows taxes. There's so much that goes into being a real estate agent, and a good one. And obviously,
I agree.
Victor's excellent, and he knows his craft. So he knows the ins and outs of all the builders: Lennar, D.R. Horton, Meritage. He knows, double insulation, Meritage Homes. He'll zip these stuff up, these facts that I'm like, oh my goodness. And that's just from him being in the business so long and selling the volume that he has sold.
Here's an interesting question. Why do you think new construction prices can come down versus existing homes? Listen, I think they're going to be, for a 5-bedroom, you'll probably be charged more money in a new construction. But I think what they're doing right now is they're charging lot premiums that I think are a little bit exorbitant. And when I talk to the builders, they say the reason they do that is because they don't want to bring down the price of the home. They just give you money off on the lot when there's not enough sales. So I think that I'd like to see lot premiums start to come down, but the prices of the homes will probably stay the same. So that's where they finagle so that it doesn't look like they're reducing the price of their homes. They're just cutting the price of their lot premiums. Let me just take this one on. Okay, and we got another question here. What would a 500 to rental market? Oh, say how much would it rent for? What's a great price point? Whoops, I think that's a typo. For rental. So if you bought something around here for $400,000 to $500,000, I think you'd definitely be in the $2,000 for rent. Would you agree? In 2,000 to 2,700, I'd say.
I'd say more 2,700. About
okay.
2,700. It depends. I mean, Winter Garden, 2,700. The rents are 2,700 and up now. Even the rental market is just took another turn.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that.
Well, if if you're interested in getting a rental property, now is the time, because there are so many renters as well who, unfortunately, they can't get a mortgage right now at this point in time. So they have no choice to, they have kids, they want to put their kids in great schools. So they're forced to pay these high rents.
Yeah. And Curtis family is saying, is the rental market hot? Yes, it's very hot. I think especially for single family homes. And it depends on the area you're in too. I mean, they want, like Kim said, the great schools. So in like Orange County, the schools are a little bit more respected than other areas. Okay. Had a question here. Did I put this one up? Do you sell new construction? I love when people ask me that, because you know what? Most of the homes I've sold in the last, I would say at least 50% of the homes I've sold in the last 2 years have been all new construction. The thing about new construction is I think the wait times now are are longer than they used to be, because there's not many supplies. Um, I have one that's closing in the end of March. Um, that one, they released when it was at stage 3. So they knew exactly what they were going to build. They and there's like 12 stages for that builder. So they knew exactly what they were building. They knew what was going to be in it. And they sold it when it was almost ready to move in. So maybe 4 months out. But I have another one that seems to be taking a lot of time because they haven't gotten the trusses for the roofs. So, that could be a problem. That's why I kind of like in this market looking towards the resales, you know. And one thing about resales is when you're dealing with new construction, it's a very impersonal business. When you're dealing with a resale, it's very personal. You could walk in there and make your offer, very nice, and no strings attached type offer. And the person could just say, you know what? Yeah, let's go with it. That's what we wanted. Can happen. I've seen it happen many times. So, that's kind of why I like it now and you can move in 30 to 45 days if you're getting a loan. So, yes. So I remember one time I ran into somebody in Epcot, and they said, "Oh, Victor, you've given us so much information. We bought in this new construction community because you don't deal with new construction." And I was like, I don't think I could fake my joy that they bought a new house. So so I do new construction. So
Yeah, and can I just say, oh, sorry, Victor.
yeah, go ahead.
I just want to chime in, and then I'll let you have the floor. I'm just going to say I'm a big fan of new construction, and I'll tell you why. You get warranty, you get a brand new home. When I bought my house, it was a resale, but it was only a year and a half old. And I'll tell you, energy efficient. Just having a newer home, a new home, is like a peace of mind. There's no nickel and diming, repairs. So it's nice. And then you're just not living in somebody's dirt. You're going in a fresh, clean house. So, I mean, there's so many benefits, unless you have a husband or you have a crew that, a cleaning crew and everything and lined up. Hey, if that's your thing, great. But new construction, love it. Love it. And Victor knows all the communities.
Yes. I will say I do. So, but when I bought my house, this house is not bragging, but it's twice the size of my prior house. And my prior house had single pane windows. I was always hot in there. I had the air conditioner on all the time. This house has 2 different air conditioning units, and I haven't paid over $160 a month, and I'm always comfortable. So that's one of the benefits, so I always mention to people, if they're thinking about a resale, I try to start with 2009. That's when it became standard to get double pane windows, 2009 and newer. So that you get that energy savings, because I will tell you, they really do save you energy having double pane windows. In my older house, I had one room where the sun used to beat on the room all day long, and that was my bedroom. It was so hot in there all the time. regardless of how low I set the air conditioner up. So I love new construction. I think it's just terrific. And some of the, when you start getting an older home, you better know how to fix things. So here is a good, if anybody has any questions, please put them up because we're only going to be here for another 25 minutes. For clients who are out of state and will travel to Orlando, how many days do you recommend looking at houses? Also, are Sundays still a good time to go conduct business? Yes, I do a lot of business on Sundays. I'll answer that. But I would say, and Kim, I don't know how many days you would suggest, but I say you need at least 3 full days. And I think it's funny. One thing is I think is funny is I can kind of tell when people aren't going to buy anything when they get off the plane and go to Disney World first. If they go to see Mickey Mouse for the first, oh, I lost Kim. If they go to see Mickey Mouse for the first couple of days, they're not interested in buying. So I say, get off the plane, get your feet wet in the homes. You could always go to Disney after we select something, but and it also depends on how big your area is that you're looking in. If you're saying, "Oh, I want to go all the way up to where Kim mentioned Leesburg and out to Lakeland and Lake Nona and St. Cloud," well, now you're not doing that in 3 days. And I don't know if I'm going to drive with you all those places. So I would definitely look to, I'm just going to text Kim and tell her to get back on. Okay. I would definitely give it at least a minimum of 3 days. If you have a really small area that you're looking in. Okay. So anybody have any questions at all? I'm going to take a little detour. I want to show you something that is new to this area. This is, I don't know if you could see how well you could see this, but this is Flamingo Crossing. And this is a new shopping plaza with hotels that is right outside the gates of Disney World on Western Way. Western Way takes you to Coronado Springs. So it's about 3 miles to Coronado Springs from here. But they have actually 5 hotels there. And a lot of my customers, if they're thinking of moving to Winter Garden, will stay in these hotels. There's Residence Inn, Fairfield Inn, Home 2 Suites. Those 2 are still opening. But Spring Hill and Town Place, a lot of my customers stay there while they're looking for homes or they're waiting for their home to be built. So just something to consider. And this is right in Horizon West. Horizon West is a section of Winter Garden. It's Disney's immediate neighbor to the west. Okay, here's a good question that we had. And I hope the person that asked it is on. Any advice on buying a vacation home for investment? I have a lot of advice about that. This is the #1 tourist attraction in the world. One of the benefits of this over Miami is we're not seasonal, while other coastal cities are seasonal. So if you use it as a oh, there's my kitty. Okay. There you go. There's Kitty sitting up there. If you use it as a your own vacation rental, where is your own vacation spot, maybe a snowbird, you still have the other 8-9 months left that you could rent it out. Where it will still be in season. So, the summer is another peak period here. So that's why this is a really great place to have a vacation rental home. But you have to compare, and the first thing I would do is start to wheedle down the communities you want to be in, but also look at the features that they have. And I have a feature list that I can give the person who asked this that people are looking for in a vacation rental. And a lot of my customers will rent a vacation rental while they're looking for a home, getting to know the area. They go to the vacation rental. It's it's a condo or a townhome. So anyway, any questions about that? Any comments? You see. No, no, no. Someone is saying, should I rent first? So we're running out of questions and Kim's gone. So anyway, we'll talk about some other stuff too. Should I rent first? I don't, honestly, if you were to rent for a year, last year, you would have spent $30,000 on rent if you're looking at $2,700 a month. $2,700 a month, $30,000 on rent, and the prices could have gone up $50,000. So it would have cost you, if we're talking about last year, $80,000 to wait a year. Now, I don't know what the future holds. I don't know the whole, what's coming up, but I would definitely say those people got, it's not a great deal to have waited. But what's great about here is we have short-term rentals. Oh, and I'm getting some questions coming in. Okay, I think I am. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, good. Here. We are looking to own something for part-time use in Orlando, but don't want to share, buy a house or a condo. I'd go with in between. If you're getting a loan, I'd go with a townhome. And the reason I would go with a townhome is all the benefits of a condo. But if you saw my stream with Josh a couple of weeks ago, there's a lot of hurdles to buying a condo with a loan. So I would suggest that it was I would suggest that look into townhome because they can be very lock and leave, just like a condo is. While a house, you may have to monitor your landscaper and all that, So, you have to have landscaping, you have to, take care of the front of the house, the painting. But with a townhouse, the community takes care of that. So I would go, if you're planning on locking and leaving for a long period of time, I would go with a townhouse. Okay, we're getting some good questions. I'm excited. We are interested in looking at homes in the Claremont area. Okay, would staying at hotels near Disney Springs be too far to travel to look at homes? It would take you maybe an hour to get there. Let me think. 20 minutes from... It would take you 45 minutes because you would drive through Disney Springs. That would take you 20 minutes to get to Coronado Springs, maybe. And then another 25, 30 minutes to get to Claremont. The one thing that's great about Claremont, stuck in the 80s, which I don't know what your real names are, but the one great thing about Claremont is there's 2 connecting roads coming in that have been approved. They say the latest is 2025. And the other road they're working on the highway first, which is that would make it 20 minutes to Disney from that area. And then the other road, it's going to be 12 minutes to Disney. So Claremont, there's not a lot of hotels in Claremont that I'm thinking of, I would stay at Flamingo Crossing. Then you're close to Disney. You're only 20 minutes to Disney Springs. And you've got a couple places right nearby. So yeah, I would definitely think about staying in. I'm trying to think if there's any hotels in Claremont. There are in Claremont on the 50. So it depends on where you're thinking in Claremont. That would be 30 minutes to Disney up in that area on the 50. That's way north of Disney World. So that might be something that you could think about. Any other questions for me? Anything you want to know about? Let me see, let me scan down. Okay. Oh, good. Got some down here. Okay. Okay. The Serenoa is and now I have one, two. Oh boy, I sound like a yeah, I have three three deals going on in Serenoa right now. They're contracted, as I said, for 2025. So I would say, yeah, they're contracted right now for 2025. So if you contracted a new construction house, well, that's going to be ready in 2023 now. So you're 2 years off. But just remember, Serenoa is only 25 minutes to Disney as it is. You do have to, it's a drive because you have to go out west, then south, then east, then north, and you have to go all the way around. But I would say it's going to be, it's coming. It's what I've heard is that it's contracted and that to be done. And if you see it the way it is right now, you understand that, yeah, this is definitely going to be done. The reason they haven't opened that road up right away is because they know they don't want all the traffic coming through there at once. They want to open up the highway first, then open up the single lane road. Is it better to buy a resale to live in while waiting for a home to be built? If you've got that kind of money. I if you've got that kind of money and the market continued the way it has, sure. Because you'd sell that home, you'd make a minor profit on it. So yeah, you could do that, but I'm not going to advise someone to do that. Houses right now, depending on how they build. Waterley, for example, is an inventory builder. They build and start building without a buyer. They select the lot, they select what model they're putting on the lot, and they select what colors are going to be inside. Hey, Kim is back. Hey, Kim.
Hi, I'm back.
Great. So we're talking about Waterley, and so that's an inventory builder. It should only take about 4 to 5 months, no more, to build. So, the question
I love
was,
Waterley.
isn't it nice? I love it too.
My favorite.
I love it too. It is. It's my favorite too. I've sold 5 houses in there. So I have one closing in end of March in there. That'll be my 5th one. So very excited because, I've shown all the other houses in the area, but they always tend to gravitate towards Waterley. So Waterley is 5 months to build, probably. Other communities, if they're custom, first you have to wait for the permit to be pulled, which could be 2 to 3 months, and then the construction, which could be 6 to 9 months. And if we go through something where there's a shortage of supplies, that house is not going to be ready in time. So it's gonna it's gonna take more time. So, and that's one of the things on the contract that it says is that the house could take up to 2 years to be built. I haven't seen that happen, but I did have a bad experience with the L company, where we were 7 months off schedule, and they couldn't tell me why. They would, and they didn't have to. Legally, they didn't have to. So, there's a shortage of concrete block right now. That doesn't surprise me, but I will tell you, I know there's a shortage of trusses right now. So, I have one customer that has had the block construction of their home was completed for 2 months, and usually the day after the blocks go up, the roof goes on, and it's not happening because they don't have any roofs. So sometimes they can be delayed that way. So it's something to consider. So, for new build homes, once you decide to buy, what is the usual deposit and can it be paid by a personal check? I'll answer the second part. Personal check, no. They will always take a wire or a draft off a debit card. So like it's usually 5,000, then 5%. All of them are a little bit different. So So for new builds, once you decide to buy, what's usually, what did I put down? I put down, it's usually 5%. Yeah. But always assume that it's going to be a wire. Wouldn't you say, Kim?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, if you're buying a resale home, I have been able to drop off personal checks at a title company for the initial deposit, which is usually $5,000. Yes, and at D.R. Horton requires a wire down payment. Yeah, it's always
most of them are wire now.
Yeah. They'll take an initial deposit maybe off of a debit card, but then after that, everything is wired. Yes, but the thing is, a house may be to a certain stage, but they're not going to release it until they know they have the supplies. At least that's what I'm finding. They don't release them until they know the supplies are coming. Because I find like they want them to be finished in like 4 months now. So anyway, okay. Any more questions from anybody? There's a new community, and I already have a contract called Oasis, which is right outside the gates of Disney World. I don't know if you've seen the signs are out saying they're available. Good. Tell me when they're available because I haven't heard about them. I don't believe signs. Anyway, so but Oasis is, I think people are going to be moving in next year. I have one contract right now, and Oasis is the closest community to Disney World that you're going to find. It really is, it's the closest over 55 community. You'd be in Disney World in 2 minutes. Have you had a chance to go through Oasis yet, Kim?
I have not. No.
Okay. Yeah, it is. It is. Right now. Doesn't look impressive at all. But it's 2 minutes to Disney. It's a great builder, but if you want to save a little money, you want it less expensive. Another community is going to be built in Mineola, which is about 40 minutes to Disney. And it's by the same builder. So my assumption, don't want to assume anything, but my assumption is that it's going to be less expensive than Oasis. So, and Alyssa and Neil are saying you'll be able to see the giraffes in Animal Kingdom from Oasis. I kind of think you could. What's funny is where I am, I can hear the riverboat and that was one of the things that sold me when I came out to look at the lot. I was like, because I bought a custom home, and it was the first time being on the other side, where you have to go through all the steps of design and everything. And I always tell my customers, don't go too crazy on design. Don't go spending all your money. And I did exactly the opposite. So, I should have spent 40 and I spent 80, but I got what I wanted. Anyway, so, but I can hear the riverboat right from this lot. So for me, that is worth the price of everything. It's nice to just sit out there and hear something, hear Disney, Kim, you could see the fireworks from your house, right?
Oh yeah, I watch the fireworks every night from my bedroom, and every night I fall asleep and I just watch the fireworks.
Isn't that great?
It's amazing. Oh, I just love it. I love it. I love Winter Garden.
Yeah. You know what's so funny is I really didn't discover Winter Garden until I was here for about almost 3 years. So, I knew it was here and I was like, "Gee, I wish I had found it earlier because I don't think I would have bought my second house, if I had known so much about Winter Garden." So, yes, it's the Liberty Bell that I can hear. Now, when the train starts going, um, the train and the Liberty Bell, you can hear them. They toot back and forth to each other. So that's going to be fun. So, Kim, do you have anything else to add? If any questions you have, I can answer.
Well, I just want to say, Victor, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I just want to say to the folks listening that definitely consider moving to Florida. Even if it's for a second home, a rental, you won't be sorry.
If you live up north, I'll tell you. Yeah, because, what I'm finding is a lot of my customers aren't retiring. They're still working, but they're working from home. So now they've got permission because of COVID to work from home. And they're saying, well, if I'm going to work from home, I might as well be where I want to be. So that I think has been a lot of the influx in. I'm getting a lot of customers who are asking, do they have, high speed internet, fiber optic, and all that, because they're going to be working from home. So I've got a lot of those customers calling me and asking about that. So,
and that's the thing too. You see it all over the U.S. right now. People are working from home, and they feel safer ever since the pandemic to work from home.
Yeah, and like I said, so if you're gonna be home all day, wouldn't you like to leave home and run to Disney World at night? So That's what most of my customers do. We don't go all day. We just go for a couple of hours. I went yesterday. It was the first time in a while, but I was there for yeah, people are doing the same, working from home. Yeah. So I do, I go to for a couple hours to Disney World, a quick trip. I went to the Grand Floridian, you know. So if anybody wants to ask anything about living near Disney, you can ask right now. I've got a little I'll show a little piece of this video that I'd like to show. And these are the top 10 places to retire near Disney World. If you're doing retirement. Recently, I saw an article with the same name, and it was obvious to me that it was posted without the experience of a local I won't play the whole video. Agent. The following communities I feel better meet the needs of people looking to retire on typical retirees' budget, and at the same time downsize. While it is nice to daydream that we all could live in a $1 million plus estate home in Disney's Golden Oak, that's another article, it's probably not practical for many retirees. Most people at retirement age are looking for a single-story home with 2 to 3 bedrooms so they have room for a guest and an office, but not one that includes an elevator. 4 Seasons at Mystic Dunes by Kay Hovnanian. I'll do these first. One of my favorite attributes of this builder is the great energy-saving home designs. This builder uses every inch and puts character into every square foot. Yeah, I love Kay Hovnanian. Combine that with the beautiful lush landscape of being brand new homes on a golf course can't be beat. My buyers appreciate that the homes are located just 5 minutes to Disney World, and when the fireworks begin again, you will see the glow. Now, this is before the fireworks started. Del Webb, Orlando. This gated community with a golf course is sold out, but resales often become available. The key feature of this community is an extensive community center with an indoor pool. The community center is amazing. This gated community has lush landscaping and some spectacular views. It is approximately 25 to 30 minutes to Disney World, and shopping is right at your fingertips. Del Webb Sunbridge. I've sold in there. Cloud. This community is a new all-natural gas community. Now, for those who don't know what Sunbridge is in St. Cloud, and it's an extensive, multifaceted development that's going to include not only homes, but there's going to be entertainment venues, shopping. It is one of the biggest investments in this area in years. So I'm going to take this off. You could always watch this later. This is on because we got some questions coming in. So, what is the largest community near Disney World? That's an interesting question. So, Kim, would you have? I would think Waterloo is quite extensive. That's over 2,000 homes. Celebration has 4,000. So there's
well, there's. Oh, sorry, Victor.
Go ahead.
Excuse me. Yeah, I was at the dog park today, and I was talking to a lady who lives in Summer Lake, and she was saying that that's a huge community, amazing community pool.
Yes,
Summer Lake.
Yeah, Summer Lake is awesome. I don't know the actual numbers of homes, but as far as I like personally, the communities to be a good enough size so that if your HOA fees are distributed between more people. Because if you have a small community, you can't have a community pool because you'll have 100 people paying for the pool rather than 400. I like bigger communities, and I think that's one of the reasons I always gravitate towards Waterloo first. But the other one that I like is Hawksmoor. That is sold out too, but that's a smaller community, but they have a nice community pool and they have a gym there too. So, K. Havnanian lives a mile from me. The real guy, K. Havnanian? Oh, you should see his house. Oh, I could just imagine. Yeah, he comes from New Jersey. What is your opinion of Centex homes? I personally like them. I've sold a couple of them. And I think that, everybody has to build to code. Everybody has to build to code. But it's the follow through of the construction manager who oversees, and it's the features that they put in, and if they shortchange you by getting the cheapest cabinets and the cheapest one builder, I hear the doorknobs break off. You're going to put in the lowest price air conditioners. So, I don't find that with Centex. I do find that with other builders. There's a couple builders that I really like. I love K. Havnanian. I love my builder, Ashton Woods. I like Meritage because they use spray foam. I just closed on one last week. So everybody has their own niche of what they do. I don't like the ones that their niche is price, because if their niche is price, they're shortchanging on something. So anybody else have any more questions? So back to Sunbridge. Sunbridge is like 45 minutes to an hour from Disney. I did a live stream out there from some homes by D.R. Horton. And, so that is going to be a huge, huge development. Huge development. And we've got, probably 2 years ago, I was thinking, well, where are they going to build around Disney World? Everything's been built. But every builder is coming back. Ashton Woods, Toll Brothers, Taylor Morrison. They're all building in the Encore section of Horizon West, which is really close to Disney. That's where Oasis is going to be. So they've got, but I think their prices are going to not be, competitive. And I hope they start to realize that they're overcharging for the lots. But if it's something that you want and it's the right property for you, I would go for it, because that section cannot be closer to Disney World. So does anybody have any questions for me about living near Disney? Anything else you want to discuss? Oh, we're 8 minutes over anyway. So Kim, you still there? Kim put us on mute so that she would, yeah.
I'm still here. I have to say good night.
Okay. Good night.
And
thank you so much for joining.
No, thank you. Thank you to all your wonderful fans, and thank you so much. And you all have an amazing evening, and I hope to meet each and every one of you someday.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Kim. So that was my broker, Kim. I've known her for, I think, probably 8 years now. So, oh, thank you, Lorraine. Thank you. Yeah. So, the thing is, people always ask me, my opinions of stuff. And it doesn't mean that, things fluctuate so fast in this business that what I say today may not be exactly true tomorrow. So that's why it's very important when you're looking at a home to realize that this is a very personal purchase. And as long as you're getting the value that you want, um, that's where I can't jump in. That's where that's where I want you to pull the trigger. If you're getting the value on something that you want, but I will always alert you if, well, you're buying this for this much. Did you know that down the street it was this much? Or a lot more down the street. So I always try to let people know what's going on and what the price points are that they're dealing with. Um, Here's a good question. Do the developers of new construction sell the houses for less money than what they advertise the houses for? No. One of the things I don't like is when you go to their websites, and this happened, with one of my customers. They went to the website and they saw the house was 450, and then when they got there, and I wrote a nasty note to the builder. In fact, I always warn people about this builder. When we got there, it was $50,000 more. And their excuse was there's a disclaimer on the website. So in other words, the prices aren't real on their website. And here's another thing that they won't tell you. That there's also the lot fees for that property. And so you buy the house for, let's say, 300. Well, the lot is maybe $50,000, but they advertise 300, starting at 300. Now, that's why I like the way D.R. Horton does it. And another builder, Meritage, did it recently with me, where they just said, this is the price. This is it. That includes the lot. That includes the features that we've already picked. I love that. But then again, you got to remember that you're not going to be able to pick the color cabinets that you like, the carpet. You're going to have to live with some stuff that may not have been your first choice. And, so that's inventory when it's an inventory home. When it's a custom home, they just, they advertise all these prices and then you bring you in. I don't understand the bait and switch idea. Because you're not dealing, this isn't, did I spend $4 or $5 on the hamburger? This is, do I spend $400,000 or $500,000? And not a lot of people have that extra $100,000. So why would you want them to come in and look and get excited so that they can go over budget? I don't like when that happens. So actually I don't know the answer to this, but I'm going to look into this, what they're building at Old Town. Unicorn is really builds commercial property. So I'll have to look into that. I'll look into what they're doing there. Because I know that right around there's a community that's been completed already. So anyway, so yeah, I don't like that bait and switch and, are the numbers right on, Now generally when something gets listed that I get the listing for, that would be an inventory home. But here's the thing. They will say to you, sure, this is an inventory home, but give me your highest and best offer. And a lot of my customers have to be putting in highest and best offers. Now, some will say, I don't want to do that. And I'm saying, well, this is the only way you're going to get it. So you don't have to always go to an exorbitant number. You just put in what you feel it's worth to you. Now, they're not going to go under, but put in what you feel is worth to you. And generally, the sales manager will tell you, that's not going. That dog won't hunt. So, as my old boss used to say, so put in an offer, try it. On a resale, it's totally different. On a resale, I think the best thing is to don't confuse the seller with any strings attached to your offer. For example, I heard a bizarre one once where the person said, "And we want the car that's parked in the garage." They didn't even entertain it. They didn't even talk to them again. They just said, you're not even being serious." So, they made a stupid judgment that these people who were from England wouldn't want to sell their car after they sell the house. So we want the car too. And that seller didn't even look at any more of their offers. They said, "Forget it. No, we're not interested in you." So I always say, that's my example of having strings attached to an offer. Make it very clean and clear, So, but don't waive, going back to our first topic, don't waive an inspection. And yeah, if they make you waive an inspection, that would be a red flag to me. So anybody else have any more questions? We'll close up. I've talked through the stuff I wanted to present to you. I'm probably not going to be live this Sunday. I haven't decided if I'm going to do a live stream this Sunday. Because I'm running out of communities. I did go up to Winter Garden Saturday, and that was fun because I did a little tour around Winter Garden. So if you pull up my videos, you could see where Old Town, 100 years old, Old Town Winter Garden is. And I was just up there today, as a matter of fact. So, and where else? So yeah, but there lots to do around here. So anybody else have any more questions? Anything? Have I gone to Oakland? Yes. Haven't you seen my videos? Oh my Lord. Yes. One of the best communities up in Oakland Place. They have David Weekley and two other high-end builders in there. And they range from high fives up to the millions in that community. There's another community too. There's a lot of communities up there. I think it is it's really, yeah, there's definitely communities up there. Now what I like about Oakland is that many of the communities are right on the West Orange Trail. And the West Orange Trail is a great walking area that you could take right into downtown Winter Garden. So you could ride anything that's not motorized. Bikes, or anything. It's as long as it's not, there's no motor, you can ride down there. And it's really, it's always got people on it, especially on the weekend. It's a great way to get out. Yes, I definitely like Oakland. I mean, but the thing is, are the prices going up there? Yes, they are. And one thing that's really beautiful about Oakland is when you pull out of the older communities, you see all these older historic houses that are like 100 years old. I mean, it's just beautiful up there. And of course, you're right on lakes and all that, and it's just great. And another area that I like is Mineola and Montverde. Those are in the same general vicinity. So any more questions before I sign off? This is my Toy Story room. Where's my kitty? Still back there? No. Okay. All right, great. Well, thank you so much for watching today. I hope to do these more often with other guests. And if you want to be a guest and just talk about buying houses and stuff like that, just contact me and I'll have you on and we'll do something like this. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. Unless there's another question. I'm waiting for another question. Oh, let's see. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Making the dream of a Disney lifestyle a reality. I'm Victor Naraki. Contact me on Facebook at Naraki Realtor or my website, celebratingflorida.com. Thanks for watching Disney at your doorstep.